You gotta say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Welcome back to In Black America Radio with your host, Rasta B. Today is September 22nd, 2017, and today's topic is gender wars in Black America, what's really going on. So we're going to be talking about this attack on Black relationships today and just the war on Black America. Guest calling number 646-716-4654. That's what we're going to do. So it's going to be an interesting show today. But before we start, let me bring in my co-host, Smoke. Smoke, are you there?
Yo, what's good?
What up, yo?
What's poppin'?
Chilling, man. Another day Friday out here in these streets, you know what I'm saying? How's your week?
Shit, man. It was all right week, you know what I'm saying? I can't complain too much about it, man. Just one of them, you know what I mean, one of them easy, steady weeks. My damn the little man was sick and shit, so you know what I'm saying? He had got some little virus, man. So, you know what I mean, I had to take him to the doctor, you know what I'm saying, shit like that. But, you know what I mean, other than that, you know, pretty steady week and shit. What's going on your end?
Nothing, you know what I'm saying, just out here, you know what I'm saying, fighting this white devil, you know what I'm saying, keeping these crackers back.
Yeah. It's one of them type nights.
One of them nights, brother. So, that's what's going on tonight. But, yeah, man, I'm out here chilling and shit. You know what I'm saying? I got some in-studio guests and shit. You know what I'm saying? I got one brother here. Let me let them introduce themselves, too. Hold on. Hey, this is You God. Hold on, we got one brother here named, what's his name, brother? You God. And,
what's good?
got another brother here. What's his name? What's his name, brother?
Kevin Sean.
That's right. All right.
What up?
Right, I should have had some applause set up and ready for the thing. So tonight is going to be definitely a round table of men speaking. So all women out there listening, please call in. But yeah, I want to talk about this gender war going on in Black America. I see brewing. Did you hear about the that whole straight black men are the white people of black people article?
Nah, where you saw that at?
Oh shit, that's okay. You know what? So before we get into that, that's gonna be the meat of what we talk about then. That shit gonna have you tripping, man. That shit gonna have you tripping. It's a new attack because you know the whole attack within the black community, within the black society right now is black men being, like the narrative for black men is now we're the enemy of the black woman. Like that's the new narrative.
Yeah,
so I'm starting to see this resurfacing. Yeah, because it's to keep that division between us, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of that shit going on. Before we even go deep into that, I want to make sure I go around a whole litany of shit to speak on. First thing I want to speak on is a couple of... Wait, did you hear about the Georgia Tech student that got killed out here in Georgia?
Nah, go into it. I ain't hear that. What happened?
All right. So what happened is it was some white dude, right? And he get killed by the Georgia Tech police because he calls police on himself, saying that he got a knife or a gun Police show up. He screams, shoot me, shoot me. Go towards them, get killed. And now everybody acting like they can't understand what happened. So now to find out that he's some gay dude, right? He's a gay dude, but he has some, he's one of them alphabets. Like, you know what I'm saying? They be making up all these shits every time you turn around. But it's like, but basically it's like that's what happened, right? So everybody's concerned about it on what's going on and things of this nature. And I just think it's funny because you got black men in the car doing what the police say and getting shot. Unarmed black men getting guns planted on them, drugs planted on them, and all of these different things. And people got to second guess us and shit like that. But then when this gay dude who calls the police on himself, described himself as the suspect, tells police that he have a gun or a knife, then gets gunned down by police after screaming, shoot me, everybody got sympathy for him, though, right? And then it gets set up with the whole Black Lives Matter shit, right? So let me read the story, though, really, right? Because I'm going to show you, because this is some black chick, right? Some crazy black chick talking.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
I guess she's doing it, too. Yeah, look that shit up. It goes, the name of this title is called this. Friend of slain Georgia Tech student. If Scout was more gender conforming, would it have been different? So he goes, I saw Scott just a week before the shooting and everything seemed fine. We played board games, we hung out, we laughed, and everything seemed okay. There are only so many queer people on campus, and we made friends, mostly through mutual friends and similar interests. Dungeons and Dragons, which has always been a breeding ground for homosexuality, and gaming. And gaming, activism, political beliefs. We're both trans and we're both pansexual, attracted to all sexes and genders, so we connect in those ways. Scout was incredibly ardent and well-educated and knew that things could be and should be a certain way, which was really great for talk and activism. Scout was always pushing us to be better and be the best we could be, just in everything. Scout listened to something, sometimes argued, but you know how some, all right, blah, 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 blah. All right, so it goes, the night up until Monday night of the visual was nice, the candle lit, wait, turned it to, all right, where's the, okay. All right, let's try this one. So it says, from having talked a lot with a close friend, I know Scott was apparently talked about how if ever attempted suicide again, suicide by cop might be easier. So apparently Scott was the one that called police saying that there was a threatening person on campus. Before they did that, they dropped off some stuff for their closest friends, a box of magic cards, and then went out and had a multi-tool in their hand. It wasn't extended, and it was a really shitty multi-tool too. At a party once, I asked to borrow it for the bottle opener, and they lent it to me, blah, 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 blah. But it was metallic and flashy, and they had it in his hand, yelling, shoot me, all this stuff you see online. I shouldn't have watched the video, but I did. If I were to make a bracket of people getting into one-on-one fights, Scout would have been a high, okay, whatever. It comes out that the cops that pulled the trigger hadn't undergone any sort of crisis training, and that has been my biggest thing watching the video. They just yelled at Scott multiple times, put down the weapon, put down the weapon. There wasn't any attempt of like, hey, listen, we know you're going through something. We can help you. None of that. People don't generally like to be angrily yelled at. People tend to feel threatened when angrily yelled at. It wasn't helpful for sure. I don't even have to continue reading this shit, right? But just listen now how the shit is set up, right, Smoke? Where the dude called the police on himself and told the police that he was a threat and had a weapon, and then screamed, "Shoot me, shoot me!" And then this chick over here talking about basically they feel as if because this dude was damn, did I ever mention what weird sexual thing he was part of?
No, I'm not sure.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think they were
He part of the movement.
Yeah,
I ain't see that.
he's a mutant.
I say he part of the movement.
No. Oh, you said movement. I think he's probably a mutant. Yeah. Oh, he has. Wait. All right. So he's saying that the 4-year student who identifies as transgender preferred to be called by the pronouns they and them was intersex, referring to the variety of conditions in which a person is born with sexual anatomy and doesn't fit the typical definitions of female or male, and serve as the president of the Campus Pride Alliance. Yeah, like I said, so this dude goes, and because he's fucking a mental case, he now calls police now on himself, get killed, and now people is turning his murder into anti-gay shooting. While we've been watching black people get slaughtered on the television show for less. For how long? And people looking at us like we've just bitched.
The outcome was about what happens when police show up and you got a damn weapon. They gonna shoot your ass. You know what I'm saying? And so to say that he, you know what I'm saying, he brought this whole situation on himself by calling them, describing himself, you know what I'm saying? Then when he get there, he's pretty much egging them on to shoot him, you know what I'm saying? Trying to, like, I don't get what's really happening. Like, but you understand that, like, when you talk about the, you know, that the LGBT community, they find issues to piggyback off of the further they cause. So if this situation happens, they automatically could go into effect, and so now they could piggyback whatever, you know, whatever it is they trying to accomplish, you know, based off of this. I mean, when you look at the story, it's like, I mean, again, I don't see anything that would have happened in that normal in any other situation like that. It's like that's what's gonna happen. So to me, like when I hear that, it's just like, you know, that movement, that group is just, you know, they find a story to piggyback off of and further their causes. You know what I'm saying? Because if he called them, then he pretty much like suicide by cop. Was he? That's what he was doing.
Exactly. So how you sitting over here now, acting, and then police like then they're gonna talk about why the police didn't have tasers, and his commands was too angry towards the white boy. He kept saying, "Drop the weapon, drop the weapon." Ain't that what cops say when you got a weapon in your hand? So they want them to change how police talk to them? That's weirdo shit. That's weirdo shit.
I mean,
that's who out there marching. That's who out there marching, though. And black people think that Black Lives Matter is a black organization. This is what Black Lives Matter is. Pay attention to this, fellas. Black Lives Matter. When gay people said that gay is the new black, right? They said that first. Then they said, we're going to come out with Black Lives Matter next. Who started Black Lives Matter? 3 gay women. So when they say Black Lives Matter, what do the black really stand for? If they just told you earlier, gay is the new black. Hold on, let me drop a bomb on that. Yeah, hold on. Let me drop a bomb.
Flex. Drop a bomb, Flex.
Yo, think about that shit. That's why every time you see the people out here marching and shit, these is gay people because the Trump administration is rolling back and stopping their advances. The next advances were supposed to be the transgenders and all these other different enders and genders and splendors.
Yeah,
That's what's
like
going on. They just had, yo, let me just wait. Not to cut you off, right? But they just had the award ceremony, right? They had a black chick who won the award for writing for Master of None. So she come up there, she gay, and she says, I just want to thank the LGBTQIA. And it's like, whoa, y'all added 2 more alphabets to this shit? What the hell is going on? You see what I'm saying? So this shit, this is a whole movement that's being piggybacked off the blood, sweat, and tears of Black American struggle. So the achievements that we don't even have, they're stepping on you, saying that they've been treated the same way you've been treated. So they're using your platform to speak about their shit. So visually, white America see black people. Politically, gay people is fighting for their rights. So figure out how that shit gonna play out. Yeah. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What y'all got to say about that? Anybody got something to say about that?
I was gonna say
that.
Like if you think back, like a few months ago or whatever, when what was it, the Planet of the Apes, the last movie came out, and they had the cover.
That's right.
I think it was like the cover of one of the scenes where like the ape has a blue vest on, and so one of the Black Lives Matter leaders, what's his name, D-Ray, whatever his name is, he always wears the blue vest. So he found the opportunity to inject the Black Lives Matter into it, basically, trying to relate that they was trying to mimic him, as that person, as the monkey wearing the vest.
No, remember, he also compared that shit to Emmett Till or some shit like that. It was like,
yeah, he had a whole.
It was a whole
part of it.
Shit. Yeah,
that was like a really a sidebar of it, because he was talking about
that part. That part was more offensive. It wasn't that blue vest to me was a distraction. When he went off and wanted to describe this shit on some fucking civil rights type shit, on some real struggle type shit, fuck out of here, man. Y'all niggas fighting for some sex. That's crazy. Yeah,
and that's basically like what it plays into the point you was just making, that it's just piggybacking off of it. And like I said earlier, the movement is designed. They find ways to interject or put their stamp on it, and and just promote themselves. So in that case, and we're just talking about with the movie, and this in the other case with the shooting, is like, okay, this is clearly a suicide by cop, but it's like, okay, this guy is transgender or whatever. This is an opportunity for their group to be like, okay, let's push our movement forward. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we don't know what influence they're gonna have on that case. You know what I'm saying? Trying to bring it in, and then who knows? Laws could be. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they constantly are moving forward with with whatever their vision is. It's like they're gonna find ways to bring themselves into shit. You know what I'm saying? And further that movement. And like you said, it's like a lot of us, we promote the Black Lives Movement. Not we necessarily, me and you, but just a lot of black people. They stand for the Black Lives Matter shit. But when it has that piggyback or that undertone, you know what I'm saying, the LGBT undertone, is like, what are we really getting out of it as black people? It's more so, the advancement of that movement.
Shit. Yeah. We gonna get the brunt in the shit when motherfuckers looking, and everybody keep thinking that's black people out there. You know what I'm saying? And shit like that, and that's not us out there. This is a whole nother group fighting for a whole nother shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that shit crazy. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about that. Anybody got something to say? Anybody got something to say, brothers? All right, nobody got something to say? All right. So, this I want to ask his guest calling number 646-716-4654. Gender wars in Black America, what's really going on? So this is what I want to ask, folks. So now, don't want to get into the article yet. There's another let me talk about this one first. No. Let me talk about the black spending power first. So let's talk about economics real quick, right? So I see economics is always a big topic, right? And the whole thing is about why black people don't have shit, right? So now we have different ideas or examples of why black people don't have shit. Some people might say black people don't have shit because. Do anybody have a reason why black people don't have shit? They might say because there's not
too materialistic.
Married families.
Materialism.
Who?
Materialism. You said one of the reasons why black people broke.
Materialism. That's why black people broke. Materialism.
That could be a reason.
Materialism. It's like materialism. That's true. The way we spend our money, but see, the way I look at shit like this too is them little pennies that we spend on clothes and trying to get a little fly and all kind of shit like that. We ain't got no bread like that. You know what I'm saying? But the whole shit at the end of the day is about stacking money. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not stacking money, but generating money through industry, through business. You know what I'm saying? In the process of us not doing that, what happens is other people start to realize that they can basically use us. You know what I'm saying? So, because we're a workforce and we're a consumer base. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody want more money, all they got to do is try to implement you into their consumer base, and then the money that you have go into their economy, into their pocket, you know what I'm saying, to their bottom line, basically. So there's a story that I heard on News One Roland Martin show. The title is called, this is on YouTube, the title is called New Nelson Reports Measures the Impact of Black Women on Culture and Consumer Spending. So I'm about to play this so you can hear 119 how we sound, you know what I'm saying, like with this spending shit and consumer shit. Like I really want us to understand that shit is a game. And anybody that's telling you or teaching you that you have spending power and all kind of shit like that and buying power and all kind of shit like that, they run a game on you. They're not for you as a black person. But listen to this right here.
All right.
Oh, wait.
So, being a woman is great. Being a black girl or a black woman, as we all know now, is magic. Absolutely. But being a black female consumer is pure power. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the reasons we wanted to talk about what that power actually means, because as black women, as the trendsetters that we are literally at the intersection of commerce, culture, and consciousness. And we are impacting so many ways that other women think and dress and what they buy. We thought it was time to highlight that.
Absolutely. Speaking of that, pull the graphic up, please. Again, I gave some of those stats when it came to businesses. Black women, first of all, start businesses at a faster rate than anybody else in this country. And also 3% of black women have black bachelor's degrees or higher, up from 18%. They're also going to college more so than anybody else as well, sure.
So let me read it. But this is what's the percentage. It says the power of African American women. Black women are majority owners in over 1.5 million businesses with over 42 billion in sales. 23% of black women have bachelor's degree or higher, up from 18% to 2005. 14% of black women have annual incomes of $50,000 or higher, up from 9% in 2005. Now I'm gonna let it continue.
So all of that says that what we're doing now, it's not that we haven't been doing it all along. It's just that for some reason the world is taking notice. And I think a lot of that has to do with some of the other trends that we point out in this report, and that's how we're spending our time as consumers and our consumption habits. We watch, bar none, more TV. We listen to more radio. We are using our personal computers for internet and video consumption. We're using our smartphones for those same things, and we're not afraid to talk about it. And when we actually share what we love, why we love it, who we love, why we love, when we do that, other people pay attention, and that works for marketers as well. So they're starting to pay attention, and they're making decisions based on that we have. And so that's why you're seeing when you have successes like Issa Rae on a platform online with her Off Girl series, or HBO's notice of all of us who were tuning in to watch that, and they turned it into a series. That's why you're starting to see this phenomenon actually manifest itself in other ways.
Now, this is a grown black woman. This is a grown woman talking like this.
Yeah.
Now,
that was a fucking...
Somebody inside in the studio audience wanted to say something. Hold on for a second. This is Kevin's show.
Now, I'm just listening to this nonsense. How does chick know she on the internet more than me? Like, she just coming out with random facts, talking about, all right, we graduated in college at a larger rate. I get that. You can, but you on the internet more than me? You watch more TV than me? How you watch more TV? Where these people getting these stats? She said I watch more TV. We watch more TV. How you know? Because you single? You think you watch more TV? You single on the crib, bitch? Because you single in the crib, you think you watch more TV than the black man.
So that was obviously in-house studio.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about that? Well,
well, I mean, basically, it was an advertisement. You know what I'm saying? It was like, you know, business owners, people who selling shit, sell it to us because we're gonna be the ones who, you know, boost you up. So to me, it was like her just advertising the fact because, you know, she didn't say anything about black women being creative. She just referring to them as consumers, which means they're gonna just purchase the product that's put out there. So to me, that was just like an advertisement. So for anybody who didn't know that you sell to, you know, black women, or you should pitch your shit to them, you know, lean the shows in there, you know, with, you know, their interests and shit like that. Then it's like now you know what I'm saying. So it just shows that they, you know, she wanted to promote the fact that, you know, black women were saying.
The funny thing that made to me about the whole conversation was the way she pridefully said, "Oh, our consumerism, and we watch more TV." Knowing good and damn well, television is one of the worst things to be sitting there watching all fucking day. And we've been listening to for all our lives how people said that the issue in the black community is that we watch too much fucking TV, and every other race watch less TV than the black person. Black people is on the internet more. We hear what? The percentage is that every other race is not on the internet as much as black people, surfing and playing games and all kind of bullshit. Hold on, we got another comment. Hold on.
You know why? Because I think, and this is Kevin, I think because of our communities and what we're going through and the struggles, we look for more distractions, you know. So that's why there's more liquor stores. You got drugs are more accessible because we need to kind of. It's true. You need to have a drink at night. You need to blow your trees and get clean. Not have that shit on your head top every day. So. Yeah, we're going to consume. We on the internet more. We're watching TV. We're doing all that. But it's not a good thing, just like Bobby Brown said. You know what I'm saying?
You got anything to say, brother? Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. So, you have something else you got to say, sir? Oh, okay, sir. All right. Now, this is my whole thing. The way she pridefully said that. And so when you're listening to that and you don't know no better, you literally think that we got power, spending power, buying power, consumer power. Just because you put power at the end of it don't mean shit. You know what I'm saying? Pussy power. If your pussy raggedy, it don't matter if you got power after it, it's still raggedy. It don't matter. You can't just put power. But this is what we're going to say. We're going to say it like this. Another article. So we're talking about the impact of the culture, the woman on culture with consumer spending, right? Because that's what black women think. She got power because she could spend and buy shit. Because she associates manpower with buying shit, being able to spend money. That's what she thinks is what it is to be a man. So now she gets money now, and then she thinks, oh, what it is to be, I'm going to do what the men do. I'm going to buy, I'm going to wear the latest this, and I got that, and I don't need no man. I can take care of myself, and I can do all. Because she thinks spending and being a consumer, that's the greatest trick. Now, here's the thing about it. Who has the babies? That black woman. Because all that attitude and all that, and when I say attitude, I don't mean attitude from the black woman. I'm talking about attitude from that mind frame of wanting to, of thinking that being a consumer and having who got more money and all that shit. We start getting into all of that shit, and you warring, and you don't even look at the person that you with on a team level like y'all all together. Then what happens is y'all at war with each other. When y'all start to get at war with each other and things of this nature, and then y'all produce children into the mix, now those are pawns in the game. You see what I'm saying? And it's like you having an internal war within the house and shit like that, and you don't even understand why. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you can't move. There's no way for you to move. You can't move so-called correctly and do what the other person said, whether it's man or woman. You see what I'm saying? Because then, I don't know. I might have lost my thought, but the whole point I'm making is, it's like the gender war is real out here in these streets, based on what I'm saying. And I think a lot of it. Oh no, what I'm saying with the woman is because she has the children, the man leaves. Now she got the children, and then she ends up raising children now with these same qualities of consumerism. So now you got a lot of boys now who don't grow up with ambition, wanting to do shit. You got a lot of boys now grow up wanting to be pretty like their mama. You know what I'm saying? And we can't say, you know what I'm saying? We can't say that, oh, well, the whole shit about, well, you know, well, a woman can't raise a man and all kinds of shit like that. We can't say that because it's not about a woman raising a boy to be a man. It's about a woman just raising the boy up. You know what I'm saying? Why they did today? Because we have no economy.
So what makes them dip?
Because if you don't have, this is the shit that I'm hearing. The shit that I'm saying is, the shit that I be hearing is, if I can't take care of my seed, you see what I'm saying, then it's hard for me to come around and watch my child and can't provide, and listening to the mother complain that I ain't got no bread. So a lot of times they don't even come through. After a while, it makes it be like, why even show up anymore?
So it's not support there. So the brother doesn't. You feel like the brother doesn't have the support, and he's being broken down when he tries to stay there. He's told he ain't shit, but if he ain't rich.
Well, I agree with that, but then I'm gonna flip it on the second side too. Sometimes I think it's also the mind frame, because you got one situation where you might have a brother who, like, the mind frame. What I mean is, you can have the mind frame that all your children got to wear polo, or all your children got to wear Jordan. So you might be able to have money just to take care, but you think spending money on your child and not spending time with your child is more real. You see what I'm saying? So it could be that situation too, which could be issues between man and woman, is the time, because you don't give the woman the break from the child if you just dropping money off. But when it comes to the black man, I feel like the issue with us is we don't got an economy, so we're not running shit. So all we doing is trying to work for somebody, so we're at the mercy if somebody want to hire us or not. And these studies is clearly showing that they're hiring black women at a faster rate than black men. So if we don't create work, we're not going to get work.
Yeah, I mean that's the direct competition right there. I mean, when you look at the average black household, I mean, you know, a man and woman in there, whether they got kids or not, most of the time, both people working most of the time. So you got black men in the workforce, and you got black women in the workforce. And like you said, you know, we're not getting hired as quickly. They getting more jobs. So it may be that situation where you see a lot of times where the women have a better job than the man. You know what I'm saying? Or you know, the man don't have a job. You know what I'm saying? He might be in the street. So now, that when you start looking at society, you know how people judge shit in society, it's like the man ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? But when you look at it, it's like we don't get the jobs as black men. We don't get them. They you know, black women, they get the jobs. So it's like, you know, that creates a direct competition right there, because you were saying earlier, like, women think like they don't need a man, and that creates that. Because if she's making more than you, then she G-checking you pretty much. You know what I'm saying? You have that in her. And in society, it's accepted for them to do that. It's accepted for them to be like, oh, I don't need you. And, you know, it's cool. It's cheered. Like, oh, she on her own. She's a strong black woman. She out there. She doing her thing. She don't need no man. Men say that shit. You know what I'm saying? They saying that shit. So it's like that creates it creates that direct competition, and so it's hard to be in a, you know what I'm saying, in a relationship like that. You know what I'm saying? If you're not making more money, or, you know what I'm saying, in a better position.
Yeah, because even like the whole system is set up just for that, you know, the financial aspect of it. You see what I'm saying? It's not designed to actually build and keep families together. You see what I'm saying? But even
right.
With Timothy's point earlier, he was saying, why aren't they there? But is that even true? You see what I'm saying? Like, look at your homeboys. Look at the homeboys of kids. They're there. So it's like, is that an old kind of narrative that we're, you know, still running with?
Yeah. I can agree with that.
I believe that's interesting that Ross you mentioned that, because the funny thing about it, I feel like sometimes, a lot of times we do pass the hate from earlier generations through lineage, like, you know what I'm saying, like inherited generations and shit. So we got a lot of, you know what I'm saying, young chicks out here who was born in the damn 90s, you know what I'm saying, in the 2000s and shit, and they're walking around with hate from 1930, you know what I'm saying, because they done passed this hate down from generation to generation. They got slavery hate, you know what I'm saying? Like, and don't even know why. Like, the war between black man and black woman is worse than Crip and Blood. Nobody even know where it started. You know what I'm saying? It's just, we just gang banging for no fucking reason. And the weirdest part about the gender war in Black America is that you have men. No. Let's talk about the women first. You have women that would sleep with a man, have children with a man, all kind of wild, freaky, crazy sexual shit with this man, but don't trust him and don't listen to him. And that bugs me the fuck out because I'm like, why would you be with somebody that you don't trust? Why are you with somebody that you can't rely on? Why are you with somebody that you can't say, I can listen to this person? This person tells me, yo, listen, go upstairs, pack the bags, get the kids, we got to go. I feel safe enough to say, okay, let me run up there and do that. Not, wait, hold on, what's going on? Let me see, how do I know if you're wasting time? You know what I'm saying? Why am I arguing with you? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, there's a narrative, I believe, and I always talk about narratives that Black men hold on to that I do agree with, that might be anti-Black woman. And I definitely believe that there is a narrative that Black women believe that is definitely anti-Black man. And as Black people, we have to understand that as a race of people, our whole identity was wiped out. Our whole history was wiped out, and we was literally raised as what we knew in society at the time. To give you a perfect example of that, imagine a child being raised in prison. They think that's society. You see what I'm saying? Imagine a child being raised up as a child rebel soldier. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's normal to them. So that's what happened with us. We got that removed and erased. So now we have another system that was put into us. So now we have Black men who don't know what it is to be a man taking on a narrative of what it is to be a man. And if that's a white man narrative that teaches you to dominate and oppress your woman, and that you got dominion over your woman and control over your woman, then that's what you're going to think is normal. And if you are a Black woman who now thinks that you are at war with this Black man and that you have to fight against him and make sure he don't know if you got a money stash and never trust him and never do this and never do that, and that we're at war, you could be with the right Black man and still be in a bad relationship because you never let your guards down. And vice versa with a Black man, you could be in a right relationship with a Black woman and destroy her because of the actions of you. Cheating, you know what I'm saying, physical violence and different other, weird shit that niggas do. So it's like, these things that we do, that we have to really change the narrative within the community, because now within the Black man side of the game, we're having, not only are we being shipped from the womb to jail now through the school system, they now coming up with narratives saying that the number one killer of Black women is the Black man. And now here's another weird article called "Straight Black Men Are the White People of Black People," right? That shit don't even make sense, right? But the guy named is Damon Young. So it goes, it feels counterintuitive to suggest that straight Black men as a whole possesses any sort of privilege, particularly the type of privilege created for protected by whiteness. In America, we are near or at the bottom in every relevant metric determining quality of life. Our arrest and incarceration rates and our likelihood of dying of violent death, our likelihood of graduating high school and attending college, our employment rate, our average net worth, our likelihood of surviving past 70, I could continue, but the point is clear. But assessing our privilege or lack of thereof on these facts considered only our relationships with whiteness and with America. Intraracially, however, our relationship to and with black women is not unlike whiteness' relationship to us. In fact, it's eerily similar. We're the ones of whom the first black president credited an entire initiative to assess and uplift. We're the ones whose beating and deaths at the hands of the police galvanized the community in a way that the beating and sexual assaults and deaths that those same police inflict upon black women do not. We're the ones whose mistreatment inspires a boycott of the NFL despite the NFL's long history of mishandling and outright ignoring far worse crimes against black women. We are the ones who get the biggest seat at the table and the biggest piece of chicken at the table despite making the smallest contribution to the meal. And nowhere in the more evident than when considering the collective danger we pose to black women and our collective lack of willingness to accept and make amends for that truth. In a damning and oppressive paradox, when speaking about race and racism, we want our concerns and our worries and our fears to be acknowledged. We want white people to at least make an effort to understand that our reality is different from theirs and that white supremacy is a vital and blah, 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 blah. When the racism is blatant or doesn't appear, although we recognize that all white people are exist, but when black women share that we pose the same existential and literal danger to them that whiteness does to us, and when black women ask us to give them the benefit of the doubt about street harassment, sexual assault, and other forms of harassment and violence we might not personally witness, and when black women tell us that allowing our cousins and brothers and co-workers and niggas to use misogynistic language appropriated the culture of danger, and when black women admit how scary it can be to get followed and approached by a man while waiting for a bus or walking home from work, and when black women articulate how hurtful it is for our reactions to domestic abuse and their rapes and murders to be what women need to do differently to prevent this from happening to them instead of what we men need to do differently to prevent us from doing it to them, their words are met with resistance and outright pushback. After demanding from white people that we're listened to and believed and that our livelihood are considered, our ears shut off our hearts and all that other shit. So this is my whole shit with this, Smoke. This is my whole shit with this. Oh, wait. I forgot another part. Let me get another part right here. Let me get one more part right here. This is like good old Erasmus Hall reading. So it goes, all right, I'm not quite sure where I first heard straight black male are the white people of black people. I know I read a version of it recently in Saki Benabu's The 444 Effect. None of that part is relevant. All right, but anyway, it's like that. So that's the whole thing. Straight black men are the white people of black people. Now let's get into that part. What you got to say about that song?
I mean, it's crazy to hear that coming from a black man. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing that stands out to me. It's like, he talking like that. Like, that's crazy, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, the problem that I have is like, in him trying to prove his point, is like he wants to erase the fact that it's really black people against, you know, oppression. So, you know what I mean? He want to erase that part and like just create this war between, you know, black men and black women. So that's the weirdest part. Like, I mean, yeah, that's crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, to have this type of narrative, and then like at the end of the article, it tells me that this ain't even his idea, because he says, I'm not quite sure where I first heard straight black men are the white people of black people. Then he goes on the way he says you read the 444 Effect. So this is not even your idea. So this is you grabbing something from somebody, and now you want to, create your article. So it really is like a pointless article. You know what I mean? It's just like he read something, and now he wants to, put an article. It's like, hey, what you got? You was in a rush to make a fucking article? You got a deadline or some shit? It's like, to me, it's a pointless article. You know what I'm saying? And then to have like we can read this and be like, and dissect it for what it is. But someone just reading this shit, the average black person, whether they black or whether they a woman or a man, they gonna read this shit like, yo, you right, man. You right. You right. You know what I'm saying? Or you have a woman like wanting to play into that shit. Say that again?
See, but to me, it's technology, because they're gonna try to mix a little truth into lies and have you play up certain activities. But just like you said earlier, we're all, black man, black woman, and black child, we're all under attack. So to sit there now and try to act like, you know what I'm saying, we're all under attack. So try to separate the attack makes no sense. But let me get we got a comment from the in-house. This is Kevin Sean.
You only know who I am. No, I just saw us being separated even further. Like, I see now that chicks that can't find a man, they created a group and they fighting for their rights, and they saying they oppressed. Within the group of dry vaginas is saying they being oppressed because they can't find a man. She talking about walking home. Where your man at? You walking home dolo. So. And has a theory about missing the bus, which I think is interesting. But one of the things me and my boys we always talk about is how chicks run our culture and society, and they don't really realize it, like how much they influence us. So as much as they say they want to do like Obama, they keep fucking a dude like Chris Brown. So I'm going to act like Chris Brown. All right? I'm going to do a backflip and dance. And I'm not going to act like Obama. That's who fucking. So you see Indian women don't fuck they men. So nobody in the world wants a fucking Indian dude. So they drive their men so hard based on that, because the men work extra hard. They are no joke. Indian men are no joke when it comes to education and work ethic. It's because they're not getting laid. Yeah. And they keep fucking the bum nigga on the street, and that's who's gonna keep eating. And chicks like this who are they say they being oppressed, but you had your shot. You 35 now. Yeah. Sit down.
And not to mention, and you also got to mention this. You also have to mention that. You also got to mention that these women also have the children. 9 out of 10. So what happened is, it's basically she creates the atmosphere that she complains about, and this is what I believe. I believe what happened is, because my philosophy is the black woman is God. So I believe that she's the missing piece of the puzzle. If she uplifts her mind and uplift herself and who she is, and get on that God status and elevate herself and take responsibility for who she is on this earth and on this planet, then we'll see a change. You see what I'm saying? But what happened is she's caught between this religion and God reality, which teaches that she's a curse. She brought sin to the world. God punished her with periods and cramps and all kind of shit like that, and pregnancy pains and all kind of shit. So then when you go to church, they teach God is the head or whatever of the man, and then the man leads over the woman. So now you got a lot of these boys now that's growing up under woman who's giving them an ideology to follow through their religion, that's having these guys think that their role is to grow up and to run a house and run their family and oppress their household and be like a slave master within the house. You see what I'm saying? So now, if this woman want to elevate her mind, he feels threatened because if she's smart and I'm smart, then she's equal to me. No, you're you. You're not compared to her. You see what I'm saying? But we're caught up into this thing where we think we're in competition. So now, what's going on when it comes to the black man, and when they went, like when the article talking about the privileges and all that shit like that, it ain't no damn privileges. When they sit there and they talk all this stupid shit about these little dumb privileges, these ain't privileges that people have. These stupid words, this shit that people start using, privilege. Now they want to start to nitpick certain little fucking things in the world. If you can jump high, now that's a fucking privilege. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything is a privilege now. And it's like, no. It's how you operate within society and how you operate within life. Everybody can't operate within life the same way. Everybody not going to move and maneuver through life the same way. Some people going to maneuver through life and can do it easier than others. You see what I'm saying? So you can't say something is a privilege, because this one is that or that one. No. It's about how you move it through life. Once you're getting taught wrong and you're getting taught that it's about what you have on and looking good and get into acting and work for somebody and don't have ambition to do shit, then you'll be in a situation where it's like you'll be in a situation like always begging, basically. You see what I'm saying? Always begging. So now you have a generation of men now who don't have that hustle mentality about themselves no more. They don't have that spirit of creating shit no more. You see what I'm saying? They don't have that no more because they've been coddled. You see what I'm saying? Because we can't keep saying that the woman can't raise the boys up, because when we was getting slaughtered during the times of slavery, when we was being slaughtered in the times of war, guess who raised these boys up? Women. So they raised them up to be strong. So what happened was they weakened the woman and made the woman feel like she ain't shit. And then they start to tell the woman, you can't raise a boy to be a man. And then she starts to believe that. I can't raise a boy to be a man. So now she have a son. Ironically, she says, what child you want? I want a boy first. Why, as a woman, would you want a boy if you're then going to turn around and say, but you can't raise him? But that's the first child you want, is the child you can't raise. That's how backwards the woman is. This is how backwards she is. That's why I'm saying that she has to elevate. I can't say we, because I don't want to talk as if we're supposed to fucking strap the black woman down and fucking put her to some, drop squad and, you know what I'm saying, be brainwashed into blackness. She has to elevate her mind and realize who she is. The baby is in her body. Her whole body changes into a new body. Only the woman can do this. You see what I'm saying? Her body changes into a new body. A human being is inside her stomach. A placenta and all kind of other shit grows inside her damn body. You know what I'm saying? Where this baby is growing and eating and shitting and pissing and all this shit, and it's not affecting nothing. Then she gives birth to this damn human. The human comes out of the damn body. You know what I'm saying? And then the human now crawls back on her and then drinks fluids from her body to nurture itself. And we're going to sit there and say, yes, that's what the man did. All of this shit, the only thing we did was bust a nut. You know what I'm saying? Because the sperm has to connect with the egg. The egg has to connect with the sperm. So us coming together, that has to happen. So that's a moot point about the sperm and the egg. The sperm has to interact with the egg has to interact with the sperm. But what happens next? What happens next is that's the whole process of life happens next. So when you sit there now and you say to yourself, all right, why is it a mission to beat down the black woman or oppress the black woman? Because if you beat her down and you oppress her, everything that come out of her is going to be beat down and oppressed. That's why these babies come out now and they crazy. Because shit, you look at their mamas and shit like that, and their mamas and shit be half crazy they damn self. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know what I'm saying, crazy environments and shit like that, and it's like it's no telling. It's no telling. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I dig. I mean, it's hey, man, the product comes through them. So, I mean, it's pretty much what you're saying. You know what I mean? The product comes through them. They control what it is. And then especially in these times where, you know, the way the separation is between the black family. So they're going to have control over it, even when it comes to the courts. They're going to have control over the future. So at the end of the day, how that mother thinks and how she moves in life, that's going to be, you know, that's going to be transported to the kids. You know, they're going to grow up with those type of thought processes. That's right. And I mean, and when you think back to the woman that was talking, or just our general conversation, they have the means to do that shit. So they can say, right, I can get a job, I can make my own money. Any money that I can't make, I can normally get that supported through the courts, you know what I'm saying, through government assistance or whatever. They got school programs. So when you got all of that, all of the opportunities that is afforded to them, they can easily fall into that mind frame of not wanting to have a black family, and maybe not also devote as much time or attention to, you know, raising the kid that they, you know, that they may have as like a single mother or whatever. So, right. I mean, it's just like a perfect, you know, it's like a perfect storm, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? It's like with everything that we was mentioning throughout this show, that creates that imbalance between black men and black women, and that whole separation. So I mean, it's weird. But then when you think about it, all in all, it's like, you know, you could think back to like to the Willie Lynch letter. And so in the Willie Lynch letter, it says to you know, to use the female versus the male versus the female, and overall you'll keep their slaves in check. So this is a design that's working, and it's working damn good. You know what I'm saying? And so us as black people, we have to understand that shit, that it's a design. All you gotta do is go read the Willie Lynch letter real quick. You know what I'm saying? And what was I got it up here. It's from December of 1712. They said if you do this shit correctly, it'll work for 300 years. That's in the times we are now. And so now you see the reprogramming just going, amping up. You know, so it is what it is. We got to understand that this is a design, and we have to work through that design instead of thinking selfishly. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. Yeah, with the black family, you have to each person thinking on with their own path is not as one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but see, this is what's funny to me though. Was it was the straight black man shit I was reading when he was talking all the shit that black people don't have, right? Yeah. It says, it feels counterintuitive to suggest that straight black men as a whole possess this sort of privilege, particularly the type of privilege credited for and protected by whiteness. In America, we are near or at the bottom in every relevant metric determining quality of life. Our arrest and incarceration rates, our likelihood of dying a violent death, our likelihood of graduating high school and attending college, our employment rate, our average net worth, our livelihood of surviving past 70. I could continue, but the point is clear. Now watch this, Mo. This is from Where Do We Go From Now? 1967. It says, when the Constitution was written, a strange formula to determine taxes and reparations declared that the Negro was 60% of a person. Today, another curious formula seems to declare he is 50% of a person. Of the good things in life, he has approximately one-half those of whites. Of the bad, he has twice those of whites. Thus, half of all Negroes live in substandard housing, and Negroes have half the income of whites. When we turn to the negative experience of life, the Negro has a double share. There are twice as many unemployed. The rate of infant mortality among Negroes is double that of whites. The equation pursues Negroes even into war. These were twice as many Negroes as whites in combat in Vietnam died and all the other stuff. But the point I'm making is, this was written in 1967, and this straight black men is like the white man bullshit was written Tuesday. It was written this Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? What was Tuesday? Tuesday the 19th. It is written on the 19th. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, what are we talking about? That's why I keep saying we haven't changed since the 1960s. Everything, I tell everybody, if you want a good book to read, if you don't have it, get Where Do We Go From Here, Chaos or Community. If you read it, read it again. If you read it, read it again now in these times and climate. The funny thing about it, Smoke, is the Congressional Black Caucus, I believe, one of them, Razzle Dazzle Black Boule award shows with Roland Martin on there. The title for the shit was called, the title for the conference is called Where Do We Go From Here? Straight up. I'm going to see can I find it on YouTube. But yeah, the title for the conference was called, I know it was on Roland Martin's show. So you can go on Roland Martin YouTube page and check it. And it's the one with Spike Lee. It's the one I got Spike Lee on the cover. I know that's for a fact. But what you mean?
I mean, like, they kept that book in mind and naming that shit. It was like, did they, you know what I'm saying? Like, was that the inspiration? It'd be interesting. It wouldn't shock me, I should say, if it wouldn't shock me if they just took the title because it was King's book title.
Right. But I would be more curious to know if anybody, if they read it. You dig what I'm saying? It's one thing to take a title. It's another thing to read it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
And these guys saying the same shit, man. They're saying the same shit. Yeah, they all saying the same shit, man. It's called the Congressional Black Conference. Congressional Black Conference. No. Congressional Black Caucus Conference. That's what it was. Man, that was a little hard, to say pause, but that's what it is, But it's like, ain't none but these old fucking black people. It's young black people that's talking now, trying to get their way in. But they don't understand that what's going on is them civil rights Negroes, they know that there's nothing for them to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing for them to do. Because there's no economy. So there's nothing for them to do. If they was to really help black people, there would be no purpose for them. So they can't they lose their clout, pretty much is what I'm saying. They benefit off of black people still having to run to them and say, civil rights niggas, what do we do? Give us the wisdom. Y'all are elders. And all that other psycho bullshit. You know what I'm saying? These niggas sold us out. You know what I'm saying? And they just eating off the hopes and dreams of black people. Off these conferences and foundations. It's all bullshit, and it's not. And let me tell you, it's not even bullshit. Oh, it's called the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation. Now, let me tell you, Congressional Black Caucus Foundation. To understand what that is and what that's supposed to be, look up the American Heritage, something or whatever. The Koch brother foundation, all of those foundations that the white people have, listen to their foundation so you can understand how those foundations are supposed to work. They're not sitting around begging and asking stupid questions and all kinds of shit like that. Everything they talk about in those foundations is supposed to be forward progress, how to advance their race. I told y'all in earlier shows that, and this is before Trump won, that them dudes had Englishmen. Dude came from England, came over talking to them whites in, I think, the American Heritage joint. And he was like, basically Europe already lost its racial identity because of my immigration and how, America is basically closing. Remember that shit? And it was like, yo, like, y'all got to protect yourself. Learn from us. You got to protect your whiteness. You can't let... He straight up came from England and came to America and spoke at their foundation and said that. Black people at these foundations, and I'm just letting it run, right? I didn't even let it. So let's just see what they're saying right now, right? With 3 minutes in. Let's see what they're saying. Hold on. Let me see what they're talking about. With 3 minutes in. Wait, where's that? There we go.
Think about all of the creative ways we can organize. What we can always do that. About the Mother's Day Memorial, we wanted to make sure that the memorial continues as a living memorial. And so we do this luncheon to honor members of Congress, civic leaders, as well as business leaders every year for what they do in the community. So today we honored Fri. We honored Emmanuel Cleaver and Congressman Leighton Clay, as well as Secretary of Interior Zinke. We honored Secretary Zinke for the sole purpose of diversity and appointing 2 females in top positions at the Interior Department. So we're pleased at his actions thus far. The most important part for me today was seeing the crowd and seeing everyone here satisfied with the comments that everybody made, not about the honorees, but in fact about Dr. King, about the tenets of justice, hope, democracy, and love that lives on here, and how much we need love, not only in this country, but indeed the world. Also last night at Harmon Hall, the Congressional Black.
That's what we're talking about. You see what I'm saying? And people smoke. I was just letting it run. I didn't even know what part. I was just letting it run. And you know what's funny about the part that it plays? A part that I heard. I hope everybody heard it. If you didn't hear it, play it back. It said they was honoring. So what I've been saying, Smoke, why they keep asking the consumer? Why they keep asking the workforce? If black people just came together, if black people just unified, we're the workforce, we're the consumer base. You're supposed to ask the black business leaders. That's what the fucking what's the name of this shit? The Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, that's what they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be having the black business leaders come to these fucking foundations and then talk and build and speak and figure out how to build economies again within the black community. That's what they're supposed to be doing. Not talking about love and America needs a whole lot of love. What the fuck is we talking about? And I just told you, the white boy came from England talking about, listen, shut these borders down, man, and clean your race up because you don't want to get your shit fucked up how we did in England. That's what he's talking about. What we talking about? Love and black and brown people and just having a good old time, and we honored someone for doing good things in the community. Why the fuck are you going to honor a black business person, I'm going to honor you for doing good things in the community. What do that even mean? What do that even mean? Don't honor them for doing no fucking good things in the community. Because if you're telling me that they're doing good things in the community, that means you're telling me they're doing nothing. They're just giving out crumbs. Because you're not supposed to be doing good things in the community, this community. You're supposed to be building an economy. Because when you build an economy, guess what you're going to be doing, Smoke? Doing good things for your community.
Yeah.
So you don't have to say, oh, I'm going to honor you for doing good things in your community. You contributing, you and every other black business person coming together at these foundations and working towards bettering our black community. That's what these foundations are supposed to be used for. Listen to the Latino Foundation.
It's pointless.
Go ahead,
pointless shit. No, I was just gonna say it's pointless shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's cool. It sounds cool. Oh, we got honored for doing great shit in the community, but it's just wasted time. You know what I'm saying? Niggas got enough plaques and awards. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's cool, but it's like niggas getting killed out here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if we fucking coming together, we need to be strategizing and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad you made a good point of it having to be the business community because you put it on the backs of us. Nigga, we got rent to pay. We got fucking water bill, light bill, all that shit. It's tough for
like
niggas.
I said,
you know what I'm saying?
But this is my example. This is my example. I always say that because it never makes sense. But this is my example. You're not going to sit there and see a bunch of junkies scratching for money to buy drugs and see junkies say, yo, if we unified and we got our own brick, and you're not that makes no sense. It makes sense if you tell the people selling drugs, yo, why don't y'all put your money together and then y'all can work together, and then you know what I'm saying? That makes sense. It don't make sense for the junkies to unify and do what? But it makes sense for the drug dealers. So it's the same thing now for in the business community. It doesn't make sense for the consumer to work together. It doesn't make no sense for the workforce to work together. It makes sense for the business community to work together. Because when the business community works together, then guess what? The workforce is going to work together because guess what unity is? Unity is all your black asses waking up in the morning at a certain time, going across town to go to work at 8 o'clock. That's unity. And guess what? Everybody's saying good morning to each other and being, you know what I'm saying? Everything that we scream, we do every day when we go to work. So we need the black business community to unify and work together within the black community. When you do that, you know what that does? That employ black men, that employ black women, right? That take care of the black families because now if black women decide, you know what? No, I do want to stay home and take care of my kids. You know what I'm saying? And the black man like, all right, now we working within the black economy now. The black men with no jobs. The black men who can work within the white economy, cool, work within the white economy. Bring that bread back in. That's how we transfer funds. You see what I'm saying? That's how we transfer wealth. We don't transfer wealth by begging. When we do that, we'll see black men and black women have more respect for one another. You dig what I'm saying? It's hard. It's never going to be a unity between black men and black women if we have to compete against each other to work for the white man. It's never going to be unity. The only how there's ever going to be unity between black people as a whole is when we realize that we have to create an economy. But that's not for everybody. So don't bust your head or worry yourself if that's not what your mind frame is. Teach that to your youth. Or if you see that within your children, encourage that with them. You see what I'm saying? But the ones who mind frame is like that, that's what you need to talk to your homies about. Stop sitting around all day talking about how many chicks you want to screw. You see what I'm saying? To talk to the black men, Smoke. Or the young black boys. Stop sitting around trying to talk about how much chicks you want to screw, what crime you want to commit, thinking about how you want to get money, what shit you want to buy, where you want to go. Nah. Sit there and build with these black brothers and think to yourself, yo, what can we create? Let's come together and see what can we create, what can we build, because that's where the power is. That's where the power is.
All the young niggas, they on that gang shit. We gang. So that's what your gang need to be doing. Coming together, brainstorming, taking that little extra money y'all niggas spending on lean and all that shit, and fucking and creating something. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, it's for the people who want to do that shit. So you got it there. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's all wasting time. So it's like, you know, you out here flexing, all that shit is fun, you know what I'm saying? You got the hoes, you got whatever. But really, it's just a waste of time. So when you get 30, you're going to be thinking about that time you wasted. Trust me. So it's like, that's what we got to do, understand. We can't be like the leaders that we just spoke about. You know what I'm saying? We have to understand time is precious. We don't go backwards. We get old. Motherfuckers is dying quicker because of the environmental factors, food, all this shit. So you don't really got a lot of time. You got to fucking start wasting time, and that's really what it is. You know what I mean? You just see the youth, really all of us. But you know what I'm saying? A lot of times, just speaking directly to them, motherfuckers posting, you see a lot of money being spent. You see a lot of money being spent. So however they getting it, but it's just being spent. It's not being put into anything. And, you know, you see some young business owners out there, you know what I mean, especially if you got like Instagram, shit like that. See people doing it, but for the most part, we just wasting time. So we got to get off that. You know what I mean?
We damn sure got to do that shit. But we got a caller. Let me get this caller in real quick. Caller, what's your name?
Greetings.
Where you calling from?
My name is Sapphire. And listen, I have a comment. I want to know who that was. Who that was speaking about the Black Caucus and how they should not be talking about. He said that they should not be discussing love and harmony amongst everybody and how we should come together. What's his name?
That was me.
You.
D.
Listen. Okay, here's what I want to say to you. Man, that message is so real. It is exactly, I can't change not one word of it. That is exactly how I feel. And because I am a woman, when I say it, they want to beat me over the head for it. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You tripping. You say that because you're probably a feminist. You're probably, and I'm not a feminist. I have very strong views. And here's what I think our problem is. If we broadcast that message that you gave and not let people deviate us from it, see, because our problem is we have information overload. There are so many things that come into play that take our minds away and drift off. But if we start saying, listen, if you ain't talking about this, you ain't talking about nothing. Let's stay on point with his message because, listen, he is right. And I was laughing because I thought, man, that is the same thing I say up here talking about love and ain't got a pot to piss in. We're not trying to hear that. And what I'm saying to you, dear brother, is do you realize that so many of us are so lost that we don't understand that there is propaganda forced at us so that we stay off our square, so that we are watching other frivolous shit that don't have nothing to do with our upward mobility. So I'm saying, what if I believe that message will help us. That is in line with what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught. I'm not a Muslim, but nobody can argue that man didn't have a plan for bringing black folks into upward mobility through business and networking those businesses. That was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's key foundation for getting us wealth. Now, what I'm saying here is I want to know what you think about this. Should we start telling people we're tired of hearing about frivolous gossip? We're tired of hearing about what's going on in social media. None of that. We're not in a position. We don't have the luxury of being lax and listening to bullshit. We can't afford it. See, other people can afford that, but we cannot. So what do you think about us? What do you think about, my question to you is, what do you think about us taking that very message that you just gave, don't change none of it, and telling people, if you are not about this, we're not trying to hear it. I don't care what your religious modality is. I don't care if you just left ancient Kemet and now you're a shaman. We're not trying to hear that. You could be a shaman or a hotepper, but if you don't subscribe to this plan right here we got, please keep quiet. I want to know what you think about that.
Right. Okay. So when I think about that, I mean, I totally agree, and I just feel like, one, I always believe that we should always preach that to our children, to keep our children knowing that that's not real black power. So when they get older and this same thing happens again and people try to trick them with this fake stuff that's going on, that they know, no, that stuff's not going to help us with all this trickery that they're doing to distract me. But in the current now, with us being adults, I feel like maybe this is just something that just has to be repeated. That when you hear people that says these things, I'm going to talk about all this stuff that doesn't work, just let them know that what do they have to do with the betterment of black people on an economic level? How do that build industry? How can that employ black people so we're not begging for work and we're not selling drugs and having to run from police and get arrested? How does that, you know what I'm saying, empower us to do, you know, A, B, C, D, and E? Because if they can't answer those questions, then, you know what I'm saying, and we openly say that, then maybe other people might say, just like you, I was thinking the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So there's more people that are thinking like this? Or, wow, I didn't even think that. You're right. You know, these crystals and these chakras and everything else you're telling me is cool, but how do that employ me? You know what I'm saying? How can my child get employed with this? You know what I'm saying? So, because, see, the thing with me is I was born under this, right? Like my mother, she's the one that got her eyes open in the 70s. So when I was born in 1980, because I'm 36, I'm going through it from the 80s. So I saw Mandela when he came to America and all of that, right? So we went through all the marches and the protesters, and I'm going under a Republican leadership, Reagan, the first Bush, and stuff like that. So I'm remembering the pro-blackness. I'm remembering when we used to say Nubian king and Nubian queen and stay black, and we used to have signs saying black owned and all kind of shit like that. I remember when Clinton came into office and he pushed education, and then everybody started going from trade to degrees and getting all of those IT jobs and working in corporate America. And the narrative was, you don't got to make your money using your hand. You can use your money making your mind. So then everybody lost the trade with their hands and started to get degrees. So then I remember in 2000 when Bush came into office and the economy crashed, all of these black people lost their jobs and didn't know how to make money again. So now I'm seeing again black people say, buy black, support black. So I'm starting to see it repeat itself. So now I'm saying to myself, okay, I used to believe in the whole black people got to unify, and if we all come together, and don't you know if we made so much, I heard all of that already. So now I'm saying, well, why y'all not asking the business community? Why y'all asking us? We don't have the bread like that. That $1 trillion spread out amongst all of us might be a couple of thousands of dollars. So that's not real money. So then I start to realize, okay, these guys that say that they're black leaders, they're really shakedown artists. Because I would hear white people say, Al Sharpton, he's a race baiter. And I'm like, fuck you, cracker, you race mother. You know what I'm saying? Like, you hating on Al Sharpton. But now I'm older, and I'm like, wow, yeah, how long are you going to keep shaking out corporations and racism and police and all this shit like that? Where's the proactive, where's the agenda to stop it? Then finally, I got the book, Where Do We Go From Here, the last book that Martin Luther King wrote, and I'm reading the first chapter where he's talking about the accomplishments that was made so far and realize everything that he's saying now is just the beginning of what he want to do is the same exact shit that we live in currently right now. So we're literally still living in 1967. So I'm like, no, all of this is not real. This whole thing that everybody's saying, none of this works because I heard it back in the 90s. The only thing that I don't hear nobody saying is the business community or business-minded people need to come together and work together to build an economy, not the whole black race and community, just the ones who's into business. We got to build our own Silicon Valley. And it don't have to be technology. It could be, you know what I'm saying, industry. It could be from farming. It could be something because we have nothing. But we have to generate our own food. We got to get our own toothbrush, toothpaste, all of this stuff we have to do where we can build our towns up again and our urban communities again, get political power again, and be able to protect ourselves. But we can't do that by begging the people that enslaved us, their ancestors, to work for them. We can't do that by begging the police not to kill us and all kind of stuff. The police kill us because the game is set up for them to kill us. It's set up. You have the music promoting us to be thugs and criminals, so that gives the police a justification to do it. We have the media painting the negative picture of us as thugs and criminals, which justifies the killing, and then we believe all the imagery. So we accept all the situation. All of that has to change. It can only change if we have an economy. Just like Latinos have Telemundo. That represents them. That way they don't have an issue being a Mexican if they live around blacks or a Mexican if they live around white. Because they can watch something that reflects them and give them a sense of who they are. We don't have that. We have stereotypes of who we are that we mimic and emulate. If the stereotypes is positive, then you start to see the whole generation of black people positive. If they turn gangbanger, everybody gangbanger. If the black woman is getting along together, you see the black woman getting along. If they show her fighting, that black woman fighting. So that means it's programmed. And the only way for us to get out the program is to create our own economy. If we don't have an economy, then that means we're going to constantly beg somebody else to work. And if we got to beg somebody else to work, that's pimping and hoeing. And that means you got to do whatever that pimp say. And if he say, bleach your skin, perm your hair, send your kids to daycare centers so they can get brainwashed, kick the man out the house, we give you food stamps, you're going to do all of that. If the man kick her ass, keep her from working, keep her from being educated, whoop your kids in shape, make sure they go through our athletic system, you're going to do that. You see what I'm saying? Because it's all designed that way. So I just feel like if we keep on openly talking about it and letting it be known that we don't believe in this narrative no more that y'all keep selling us, this is what we have to do, then and teach it to our children, then I feel like it's gonna become more popular. You know, yeah. in the long sense of it.
That's very powerful. And my last question to you is this. When I think about everything that you just said, I imagine, like when my grandfather used to tell us stories about how the black economy was when he was a small boy in the 30s. And he said it wasn't until he was like 24 years old that he purchased something from a white man. He said from the cars, the groceries, the food, tobacco, the shoes. He said he said, I know what it's like to see a black man make shoes. He said that the tailors, the cleaners then were a tailor. And he said you could go, and when you look at the men in the 40s and 50s, he said, when you see their nice suits, those were made by black tailors. And he said the tailors lasted up until like the 70s, black tailors. But he said he had never bought anything from a white man because where they lived in the South, it was segregated. There was Jim Crow. And he said he didn't know that so many black people were poor until televisions came along and said that they were poor. But they grew their own food. They bought from themselves. They had everything. They had everything. Yeah. Now, what came along to trick us into letting everything go so that we could shop at Macy's and so that we could shop at these other stores? What came along that told us that it was country to grow your own food? You were a country bumpkin, you were a sucker, you're uneducated. But I will tell you this. My grandfather always would say, it is better for your first vehicle to be a truck. He said that was the law in the country because the truck will purchase your car. My ex, he heard it, right? He used to tell me to call him just so he could hear him talk. So he heard it, and he called me after we broke up, 5 years after we broke up, and he said, I just want to tell you this about your granddad. He said, I got laid off. He worked for oil. He got laid off. He said, but I did like that old man said, I bought a truck. He said, don't you know, once I got laid off, all the other people that got laid off, and with the downturn in the economy, I've been helping people move shit, move their furniture, relocate. He said, I kid you not, I am making just as much and more as I was working. He said, that old man is the real deal. I just want to let you guys know, we were on that course, and propaganda, like the brother just said to us, listening, watching stereotypical images, and then we acclimate our lives into those images. And I want you to know that Tavistock Institute said this in the 40s. They said, if we give them images on television, they will make their lives line up with the images that we give them. So I'm just backing you up on what you said, and I want you to know that I see how what you're saying can work. We were there before. We got tricked by telling us we need people to love us, talking about that old love, want to be kumbaya, holding hands with everybody. Now we don't have none of that. We don't know how to make shoes and clothes anymore. We don't grow our food anymore.
And then we complain about the diseases. Well, before I said that, you said it was Tavistock what? What was the name of that?
Tavistock Institute. Tavistock Institute is one of the main institutions that are responsible for the type of programming that goes on television and the airwaves and in social media. Now, they adapted something called propaganda. And I want to, if I can, just real quick, I want to read you guys the 4 rules of propaganda. For propaganda to be effective, it must, 1, be seen, 2, be remembered, 3, be understood, and 4, be acted upon. This is what the brother was just talking about. We were fed propaganda, and research Tavistock Institute, and you will see what I'm talking about.
Tavistock. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think I put Tavistock.
Yeah, that's where I try to take you to on the shirt.
That's what it is. Yeah, but it is propaganda, and because that's if you could convince somebody, it's just like with the black woman. The black woman is the most important piece of the puzzle. That's what I believe. And I think the proof that the black woman is the most important piece of the puzzle is because she's beat down the hardest. So you're not going to beat down the least important. You see what I'm saying? So that's what happens. Yeah. When it comes to the black man in society, we are supposed to be the protector of the black woman. So when he prants us around on TV, it's really just to show the black woman that you have no protection. So I believe that's where her anxiety comes from. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that anxiety comes from, because a lot of it is subconscious. Once you get used to not having the black man as protection, and once the black man get used to not having to protect the black woman, then comes disrespect. Because what is your purpose? Why are you here? You know, is it just for sex? You know what I'm saying? Like, you start to lose the respect and the purpose of one another. And then when you look on the television, they played us against each other, and then we start to believe into, like, I remember in the 90s when they started to do the Men for Mars, Women is for Venus, gender wars, and it was always white people. And I remember being a kid, and I used to say to myself, like, gender wars? Like, what do that even mean? Men is for Mars, women is for Venus. And I used to always say to myself, like, damn, white people is weird. They got some weird concepts. Not realizing that was the programming for my generation. But because I grew up in a pro-black household, my mother always taught us how to watch stuff. So if we've seen something, she'll break it down to us. Where another household is watching it and thinking, oh, I'm supposed to go to war with a girl. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm being taught that, like, this is your sister, this is the queen, this is royalty, this is who you're supposed to honor, and she's supposed to honor and respect each other, and black love, and y'all in this fight together, you know what I'm saying, this black struggle. That's how I'm being taught. So that's why I always say that we have to teach the children this. Because a lot of times as adults, we try to get our mind right and open our eyes to a lot of the bullshit, but then we're teaching our kids to kick another kid's ass. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we have to teach the unity from the youth while not being naive, because you have to, your child do have to protect themselves from the knuckleheads. But we have to have the child understand that we have to better the race and better ourselves as a people. You know what I'm saying? As a race and as a people. So that's the only way for us to get better. And I just feel like it's through the youth. Like, you know what I'm saying? I kind of sort of missed my point, but I'm just basically saying, like, through the youth, I feel like that's how a lot of the change of what we want to see happens. Like, if we want better mid-quality men, one, we have to elevate the woman, because through the woman is where the babies come from. So if her mind frame isn't right, if she's not feeling that she's worthy, if she's not feeling like she's important and she have a purpose in this whole process called life, you see what I'm saying? Then I feel like the children that come out of her have that same doubt. You know what I'm saying? Because if the man isn't there, she's not raising that child with strength. You know what I'm saying? Or if she is raising a child with strength, then you have to wonder what type of strength is it. Is it the positive strength of esteem, or is it the negative strength of the boy is a savage, kicking everybody's ass and a thug in the streets, and the girl, she's a man-hater, and, you know what I'm saying, things of this nature. Like, we have to raise our children up where we understand that we're basically raising leaders. Like, all of our children, we have to raise them up as leaders and with purpose. So we're raising greatness. Like, we can't worry about nobody else kid out there. It's basically what I'm saying. That's what we have to do. And I just feel like it's the woman that we have to really, like, it's her. You know what I'm saying? To go back to the whole media image again, it's her, because that's why she gets beat down a lot, because it's her. It's her essence. You know what I'm saying? Whatever she likes. If she decides, and comedian says it all the time, if she decides, I'm only going to deal with men who's smart and intelligent, then a lot of these dudes going to start picking up books. You know what I'm saying? That shows power. And it's like, if her mind frame elevates, and the black woman believe again that is you're in control of this. All these babies running around here shooting at each other, they came out of your body. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to elevate her again. You know what I'm saying? To stop thinking that it's the man that's gonna do it. There's nothing for the man to do but protect what it is that the black woman creates. That's what I believe. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's powerful.
And I think it's her.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what I believe.
And I agree with you 100%.
I believe it's her time. Thank you. Thank you. Because that's how I see the only way this thing can change, and I really believe that. Because if like my whole concept too is like I don't believe in the concept of the man should be running the house. I believe the woman should run the house. The man should be out here in the street dealing with economy, dealing with business, dealing with getting that bread. The black woman should be here dealing with the house, dealing with the children, dealing with local economy where she's making money, whether it's clothes, food, soap, materials like that. If she don't have children, it could be daycare. It could be whatever she wants if she ain't got children. But, you know what I'm saying? But it's like she has her own system where she makes her bread, where she creates her economy. The man goes out and he's getting out there making her economy even work stronger. He's the protection. That way when he comes home, what am I running? I should be able to relax. Everything here within society should be good. You know what I'm saying? Now me and her could come together. The children is well educated and they're good. I'm here to give them what they need and vice versa. But I feel like when we get to the point where the man runs the house, it gets to the point of that means he's not running outside. He got ran out of outside, back into the house. So now the woman now got to play second fiddle because he's like, well, move over. I'm running the house then. So what I say goes. Because when I'm in the streets, I can't do that. So now she plays second fiddle and has to play like the child role towards the man. That's always going to cause conflict within the house. The children see that, and that causes them now to grow. That affects a whole other generation. And I think that's what causes a lot of conflict within our home. Because there's a lot of conflict because it's like, I don't know as a woman, so, I'm saying 'cause I'm not a woman, so you can speak on this, but maybe if the concept is as a man that I'm supposed to run shit, you're supposed to listen to me, I'm the head of this, I'm the head of that. If you're a little girl growing up understanding that to be reality and you coming into womanhood, does that now make you look at men as somebody who you just expect supposed to like run your life or something, or are you supposed to fight against a man trying to do that for you, or do you just look at it as, no, he does what he do and I do what I do? That's my question to you.
I can only speak to it from a personal perspective. And what was so thought-provoking about what the example you just gave about who's running the household and who's handling the protection and who's bringing extra money in to keep the family afloat, not only to keep your family unit afloat, but your extended family. I think about this. In my life, I can tell you what I saw, and you just told me something. My grandmother ran the house. She called the shots. If she said balls against the wall, that's what it was. But my grandfather was very powerful, and as a kid, I always knew this. If somebody did something wrong in that area, front yard, backyard, in the house, I don't care if it was my uncle or anybody, I had to go to Edna, that was my grandmother, and she was going to apply some correction, okay? When my grandfather got home, he didn't hear about none of it unless somebody stepped even further out of line and he had to choke him up. That's it. He just said, what did she say? All he would say to her was, who was it? That's it. And she didn't do a whole lot of talking. She would simply say, your son is out of line. He would say, which one? And we would hear the rumbling, We would hear the rumbling and our eyes would get big. So I'm thinking about what you just said. Now, my grandmother worked. And my grandfather had things that were his responsibility at home. He would repair the appliances and stuff like that. But anything else, he would say, talk to your grandma. That we didn't even go to him because we knew, what he was going to say. And I'm going to tell you, all of their kids, including my mom, all of her brothers, all of them had functioning marriages until they moved from that unit because my grandparents owned a lot of property and moved to cities in apartment complexes. And it was hard on two of the marriages, my parents and another family member. So I'm thinking about what you said, and I never thought of it like that now that you say that, but that's exactly what we experienced. So,
because, see, once you break that system down, then everything turns into, it's not that unity and evenly flow. It then turns into a oppressive structure, because now you're taking my spot, and you're bumping me off of my throne as a woman, handling it, my handle. Now you're coming taking my spot. And sometimes you have mothers that once they get bumped down, then the children end up getting oppressed. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we have to create, as black people, our own structure that works. Because I even told a young lady that I knew, I told her, I said, you know, back in the day when the black man, even when the black man worked and the black woman didn't work, even though a lot of black women did work, but the ones that didn't work, the black man still came home and gave his check to her to handle everything dealing with the house. The concept changed. Once the concept changed, that caused distrust between the black man and the black woman. Now, instead of us being in a team and inside of a relationship where we're one working towards a common goal, we're now working against each other. It's like we're roommates now. Now you got secret accounts, and I got, you know what I'm saying, I'm holding back money and using my money to control you, you know what I'm saying, by not giving you no money. And it becomes an oppression, all because we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing as black people. And that's something that we have to do too. We got to change the narrative of who we are. I feel like we're following a European model of a relationship.
Yes, we are. Speak on it. Yes, we are.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah.
I get you.
Yeah,
yes.
I feel like we're doing that. Yeah, I feel like we're following a European understanding of a relationship. And because we think that's normal, because we see that through TV and things of that nature, we that's what we do. So then it won't work because we're not Europeans. Continue.
Right. Exactly. That's it. Can I tell you this quickly? My mother's youngest brother, when he wanted to marry this woman, there was a family meeting, and my granddad, all of the elder people were talking about if that marriage was going to be good for him, right? And I'll never forget this. Right. My grandparents, my grandmother and my grandfather, said that they did not suggest that my mother marry my father. They said they felt he wasn't good. My mom was angry and kind of moved away from them a little bit because of it. But they said the reason they didn't want my mom to marry my dad was that my dad was spoiled. His parents paid for his education. He never worked on his own. He never worked. This is what my grandfather said. That's why he didn't trust him. And my dad, there was a problem in the marriage. Now, a younger uncle, they told him not to marry this woman. They said because she, so far, 26 years old, and hadn't done anything for herself. And my grandmother said, if you marry her, you're going to have to take care of her, and she's got a smart mouth, so you're going to have a lot of fighting. I raised my hand I put this on my grandparents. That marriage kept the family torn up for 20 years when I was a little kid on up because she never worked and they were always fighting. He always had to come to our house and stay a week until they start getting along again. So what I'm saying here is Nigerians have a system where the family, they have a discussion about who their children are going to marry. We do it the European way. You're marrying that person, not your family. But what the old folks are telling us is that, and the Nigerians are telling us, is that who you marry becomes your family.
Yeah.
See, they're a part of the whole unit. So I'm just backing you up with, we have a European standard for relationships that is built on emotions and puppy love. I love at first sight. Don't give a damn what the person do, what they about. You know what I'm saying? How they handle themselves.
it's really
you say
lust
what?
and sex. I said it's really just lust and sex and, what looks good for the moment type stuff. It's not even love anymore. It's straight sex. So it's like, that's what everything's about. So at the end of the day, it's like we're wasting our time, wasting our youth, wasting all our energy, and then by the time we do get into our 30s and finally figure it all out, we don't even realize we're trying to catch up now. We should have been doing it or figuring it out in our 20s. But that's something that we got to teach our children so they don't waste that time when they get into that stage. But when it comes to the gender wars, I just feel like that's something that we got to get past that. I feel like when it comes to black women, I feel like she has to create a new narrative of who she is. And I feel like black men need to create a new narrative of who he is. Because the stuff that I see now is disgusting. I'm seeing guys now, like these little teens, they fighting and punching girls all in their face. And I'm like, it's crazy. And a lot of it is because society started to teach that you're supposed to, with equality for women is supposed to be, I guess however they try to sell the whole equality for women stuff, I feel like a lot of black men started to take on that white man who's against the feminists, whatever that word could be, started to take on his ideology when they started to say things like, well, if she jump in my face like a man, she'll get knocked out like a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we started to lose that thing about it and made us say, nah, she's still a woman, you know what I'm saying? And as a woman, still, let me cool down because that's a man, let me not jump in. Like, we lost that. Everything started to be like, I can just be disrespectful to each other for whatever reason. It's like a lot of stuff has just changed. I just feel like we need to take a reset button and we got to rewrite our narrative so we can pass that on to our youth.
Did you realize that the narrative they gave us about the gender war, we didn't even know about it? They told us that we were having a gender war. We as black people have always had our problems, but we managed to work and continue on even with our problems. But somehow they told us that our mothers were feminists. Nobody I know had a feminist mother. This one woman said, were any of you guys the children of feminist women? I said, no. My mom, none of her friends or none of my aunts were feminists. They told us that this is what we did, and we bought into it.
Yeah. And that's why I keep saying the black woman is the key to the whole puzzle. Because once they convince the black woman, then everything else falls to the wayside. Straight like that. So that's what it is. So I'm just hoping that we change this weird gender war stuff that's going on, because it's really weird. It's really weird, especially when it comes to black people, because we do honor the black woman, and a lot of us do recognize that. Like, as black people, we do recognize that we come from the black woman. Like, we don't have to say that weird thing that white people say. I recognize that that's disrespectful because I have a daughter. Like, what does having a daughter have to do with understanding something disrespectful to a woman? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's that weird white people stuff. Us as black people, we've never had gender issues, gender wars. We never believed in the black woman being below us. You know what I'm saying? We never had these weird concepts. And when we didn't have these concepts, we never had conflicts between black men and black women. You see what I'm saying? We never had that. Once we started to change our concepts, it started to follow white male masculinity ideologies and white woman ideologies, what we did was we picked up their beef and their arguments and their conflicts that they had within each other. We picked that up and then we brought that to the house. Like, I'm going to tell you a quick thing. There's a conversation I had with a white guy. This is about homosexuality versus heterosexuality. So listen to this, Smoke. So I had it's all going to tie in because it just shows like with the mind frame. So I says to him, I just find it funny that homosexuals say that they're their own shit or whatever, but their structure is the same structure as heterosexuality. So he was like, well, what do you mean? I said, because, they be having those masculine women and the feminine women and the masculine dudes and them feminine dudes, and they want to dress up as women, and they want to get married and adopt shit. They want to do everything that's fucking, heterosexuals do. So then he was like, yeah, so he made his argument. So I told him, his argument was that the homosexuality stuff was happening since the beginning. I said, there's no way it could have happened in the beginning because that shit don't produce nothing. So if it doesn't produce nothing, then that cannot be the standard of living. I said, and you have to have a standard of living. So he said, well, what should the standard of living be? I said, the standard of living has to be heterosexuality. That's the standard of living. Now, whatever you do outside of the standard of living, that's your business. But the standard of living has to be heterosexuality. So he said, well, why do it have to be? I said, because life. And if you don't have a concept that promotes life, then your concept cannot survive. You know what the white dude did? Rolled his eyes and said, get out of here. Life. And I'm like, what? What? You know what I'm saying?
But how did he get here? How did he get here? Is the question.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying, like, all of this, everything that's going on is propaganda, social experiment, promotion, and things of this nature because they know what's the end game. You don't start the formula without knowing the end of the formula. They know the end of the formula, and they test it out to see what happens. All of this, black women fighting black man fighting black woman, now they got articles talking about the straight black men are like the white men of what? Like the white men of black people. This is by the name Damon Young, and I'm like, the straight black men are the white. So what? The gay black men is friendly to black people, but the straight black men are the white people of black people. And this is a black dude that wrote this, so it's like.
But did you notice when he released that article? Did you notice when he released it?
Oh, let me see. What the date? It said Tuesday.
Tuesday.
19th.
Okay. Now, I want you to look at this. Here's what I think personally, and I could be wrong, but in studying propaganda at the college level, I understand this. When I think his releasing that has to do with the Kanika Jenkins case. And I know this sounds crazy, but listen to me. With the Kanika Jenkins case, man, who was saying that's some bullshit. They lying. They covering up something. I mean, just droves of brothers are saying, no, I'm not getting ready to look at them kids. This is a high cover-up operation. Too many kids coming up dead in Chicago. As a matter of fact, the brothers are saying that's what all these police killings are about, organ harvesting. So when you release that article, then you got to go back to gender war. Well, I'm not going to pay attention to these crimes of our children because me and the black woman hate each other. I think it was strategically released to get some pressure off of this case right here because this case has the power to shut that whole state down. That corruption right there, the rabbit hole goes so deep behind her case until we can't even scratch the surface because you have never in your life, I know in my life, I've never seen a case in a death where the police show up and determine without even investigating that it was not a homicide.
Right.
You know within 10 minutes. You understand what I'm saying? And I want you to be mindful that the lawyer, I know there's a whole bunch of speculation out there, but the lawyer said today that that film that they saw of her walking in the kitchen, hear me closely, that was not the kitchen found in. The kitchen, do you hear what I'm saying? I don't know if people, I don't think people understand what that means. That man said this. He said that they were asking for hard drives, they were asking for everything, because the tape that they saw, there were people around her in close proximity. Now, they saw tape that the public didn't see. So they said, until they get that film, they are not for certain that she walked in there, because, and this is what the man said. He said the freezer that she was found in was way away from that kitchen right there. That he said the kitchen you saw her walking in was a working kitchen that they operated in. Where she was found was not in construction, and it was far away, and it doesn't make any sense. So people need to think about what that lawyer said, and you got to remember, lawyers going to get their paper, and their job is to be proven wrong or negligent. And that man said the kitchen she was walking in, that was not the kitchen. So that tells me a whole lot. A whole lot.
Yeah. And I said earlier in the show when we was talking about that article, I was like, you know, I felt like this was a purposeless article. You know, I said that earlier. It was like, but you just made that connection. You know, that's real. You know, that I appreciate that, because earlier I said, like, when I read it, it was just like, what was the purpose of this? Like, what? He didn't really even make a point, and it wasn't his idea. Like at the end of the article, he says that he remembers reading some other publication where he got that from at some point. So to me, it was just like, why even release this? What is it about? Yo, that's a great connection.
Yeah, it served no point, you know what I'm saying? But that's how you know all these people out here ain't for us. These people out here ain't for us. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we got to stop thinking we all got to come together, we all got to do this, we all got to do that. Nah, some of us is employed by the same people that's destroying us. And it's their job. Just like the black woman earlier on the Roland Martin show, I didn't catch her name, who was head of the Nelson thing, and she was talking, and she said, talking about the strides that black women make in America. So she was like, the reason why these people is targeting the black woman is because they're the number one consumers. They watch the most TV. They on the internet the most. And I'm just like, you're talking like all of that's good. All of that's programming them. That means they're the most programmed. They're the most one tied into the system, and we can exploit them and get their bread. And if you have a black woman now that's connected to the system and you can exploit her to get the bread, then that means if she have a baby, even if you're a righteous black man, and that's why I say the key to this whole thing is the black woman. Even if you're a righteous black man, if you sit there and say, all right, so you know what, let's try to live below our means so we can stack more money, she's not going to hear that, because she want her child to have Jordan. Or she needs her baby to be wearing Polo or some latest disc, because she's watching all of this stuff on television. Love and Hip Hop, where they're constantly promoting a lifestyle that people who's empty inside wants to wish they had, so they try to emulate that or try to get as close as possible, and they will ruin their lives to follow that. So if a man is righteous, he can't fight against that, and he's either going to get destroyed by that or get ran out the house by that. But if she's righteous, you see what I'm saying? If she's the one that's righteous and she got the baby and that man not righteous, he can leave and she'll have the baby. And then we know the next generation is going to be raised correctly. But if she's not righteous and he's righteous, he's not going to stay. she's gonna push him out. And even if he do stay, everything he do to raise the babies right, she's gonna do the opposite. The mother have way more control over the child than the father, at least in the beginning stages. So
don't
it's
you
like
think that the programs? I was going to say, don't you think the programs for us are designed to do just that, to get the mother off her square? That I don't listen to any of those talking heads because I think they have an agenda. I believe this, and you guys tell me what you think. I don't think you can work for CNN. I don't think Roland Martin could have a show. I don't think any of them could be in mainstream media if they did not give commentary that would deduce us. They're not going to say they're not going to talk shit to us straight out, but they are always going to have a narrative that goes against what we need to come up in this world. They always, all of them, pay attention to it. Even though they smiling, right, got on cologne, got their hair looking good and shit, everything that comes out of their mouth goes against the very things that we need to come up. So I do not listen to them. I do not. I don't care who it is. Roland Martin, him, the black woman, Omarosa, I don't give a fuck. Because I know that white man is not going to let you speak to the masses unless you are a benefit to him. He's not going to let you do it.
Yep. Fact. The only people that's our leaders is the people that's in the street. None of the sports people. None of them people is the leaders. And there's no such thing as leader. That's something else that we need to change as black people too. There's no such thing as leaders. Everybody is just black men and black women who stood up and did something. That's it. These are just black men and black women that stood up and did something, and we need to learn from their mistakes and forward the stuff that did work. And the things that didn't work, correct that. That's it. That way we can stop thinking, oh, if I had the spirit of this person, or if I wish I was strong as this person. You are. It's just that you never tried and did it. That's it. And this person decided to do it. They're not smarter than you. They're not greater than you. They piss and shit. They get hungry. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you do and experience, they do and experience too. So it's like they're not great people. They just did great things. And you can achieve great things also. You know what I'm saying? And if we all start thinking that and teaching that to the babies also, then maybe we'll stop thinking that we're incapable of all the time of doing stuff. Maybe we'll leap out and try shit. You know what I'm saying? Because we'll figure out that, hey, you know, if Malcolm could do it, I could do it. If Marcus could do it, I could do it. If Rosa could do it, I could do it. Instead of thinking, I wish I had the spirit of these people to do it. I wish I had the courage of these people to do it. No, you have it. So you can. Just do it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to change a lot of narrative.
I want to ask you guys a quick question. Do you all remember that black man? I don't remember his name, but he was the original doctor on Grey's Anatomy. It was a brother married to a black woman. And I want you guys to remember they fired him from that show because he said,
Isaiah.
Yes, Isaiah Washington. I pay close attention to this. This is how I know they're full of it. When Isaiah Washington spoke his mind and said he didn't have to be smiling up in the gay guy's face, he didn't have to continue to have. He said he could speak to the guy and short conversation regarding work, but he didn't have to take gay jokes and stuff from that guy. He said, I don't have to do that. He said, this is not the place for that. And, you know, he was pretty much checking them. And he said, and that in itself is racism because me as a black man, I'm expected to go along and get along. He said, but I'm not going for it. They fired that man, and in comes guess who? Jesse Williams. And he's supposed to be a spokesperson, but you fired the authentic black man when he told you what was really up. Do you see what I'm saying? That's how I know when they start speaking, trust me, they just talking shit to win you over, and it's a trick somewhere down the line.
Yeah, that's real.
That's a good example. Yeah, they've been playing that game for decades and things of that nature. But
to this day.
To this day, yeah. But we're coming into that 11:30 part. I want to thank you, caller Sapphire, for the great call and call and listen and subscribe to all the channels and all the good stuff. We out here. So thanks for the call, Sapphire.
Where are you guys? I said, where are you guys from, and how can I listen? Where are you guys from, and how can I listen? Do you have a network or something or an app? Where else are you?
Okay,
we got.
So, go ahead, Smoke.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I was gonna say we have like a lot of our older shows posted on YouTube, so you can go to just type in Black America Radio, and just have like an archive of shows. We usually broadcast on Fridays 9. Sometimes on Saturdays too, 9 to 11 or whatever time we go to. Right here on Blog Talk Radio. So, we're usually here, but if you can't catch the shows live, you can always go to that archive on YouTube and listen to the older shows.
And are you guys? Do I hear Brooklyn and Bronx accents?
Yeah, we're from Brooklyn.
Yeah, Brooklyn.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah.
All right, I love y'all, man, and I want y'all to keep on doing it. I really mean that. Thank you.
Thank you.
You
had a great call. I appreciate that.
And as long as we expand, we're gonna let everybody know how we expand. Cause we are trying to get the Patreon account up and other little platforms and things like that too. So yeah, we out here. We're doing it. But definitely thanks for the support and just like Smoke said, we're here Fridays and Saturdays. Definitely catch us on the Blog Talk, on the YouTube in Black America Radio, and on the Facebook in Black America in Black.America Radio. I think the name unfortunately is Bobby Black because it made me change it, but it's still cool. But thanks for the call, Sapphire. Enjoy your weekend. And now it's time for us to close out. Smoke, how you want to do it?
Yo, man, another good show, man. You know what I'm saying? We always have those good calls, man. Always insightful. The sister